And how do I get there from here?
I invite the leaders of our planet to ask themselves these 3 questions before they make any crucial decisions.
But if you don't make decisions, you're going to stay right where you are.
We are all map makers.
We are in a time of transition.
If we're going to change, we have to change the direction that we're going.
Our planet needs leaders who know where they want to go.
When we change the direction we're going, then we want to make sure we're going in the right direction.
Leaders who can see the big picture.
Because if we're not, we're going to either go backwards or we're going to stay where we are.
Recognizing the psychological and the spiritual shifts and changes that need to be made, often from the inside to the outside.
To be able to shape your future, you have to be willing and able to change your paradigm.
Complex journeys require navigation. The path to the truth is one such journey. This is your GPS. Hairstyling services provided by J.D. Edwards Salon and Spa, Palmdale Shopping Plaza, Ladera Street. Accessories provided by Chevette Williamson Jewelry. Standout jewelry for standout women. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to GPS, Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. I'm your host, Michelle Malcolm, and as always, it's a pleasure to be in your company today. Thank you so much for tuning in and making GPS a part of your afternoon. All right, so before we dive into me introducing the guests or having them introduce themselves, let's tell you how you can be a part of the conversation. The telephone numbers to call are 326-0271, 326-0271, 326-0272, 326-0272, or 801-0271, 801-0271. That's the WhatsApp line where you can call or text. We're streaming live on Facebook on the official Global 99.5 FM Facebook pages, as well as the Michelle Malcolm official page. And we're also on YouTube on the official Global 99.5 FM and Michelle Malcolm channels. And of course, you can find us on Cable Bahamas. We're on channel 974. So you ain't got no excuse. Make sure you let everybody know the GPS is on the air. Like and share the show, and let's get this party started. All right. So now that that is behind us, I'm going to go ahead and introduce the guests for today. We have 2 gentlemen who are going to be a part of the conversation initially, and we're expected to be joined a little later on by others. And just so you know, the show today is all about men. So for y'all who like to call me a feminazi and say I only want to talk about women's issues, not today. This is all about the men today. They have a special event coming up that we're going to learn a lot more about, in which they are encouraging men to mentor other men. Each one reach one? Each one reach one. So we're going to learn a lot about this movement and why it is so important in our Bahama land today. So let's begin by having our guests introduce themselves. Let's start with you.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. I'm David Williams, the Public Relations Officer for the event that is coming up.
Can you give us a little bit more information?
Oh, okay.
About yourself now, not the event.
Right, about myself. Well, as I'm involved with a number of men's organizations. My nonprofit is called Uplifting Men, which was launched in 2011 in Kenya, Africa.
Mm-hmm.
Thank Pastor Miles Monroe give him credit for assisting me with launching that.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I've served for the last 20 plus years as a director with Prison Fellowship Bahamas. Presently, I'm actually the programs coordinator, so I'm responsible for all the programs that we implement at the Department of Corrections.
Mm-hmm.
I work along with Dr. Carlos Reed with the Brotherhood. That's an alternative to gang violence. I'm also a part of the International Men's Day Bahamas Committee. That's a grouping of men that run programs also for men and boys.
Okay.
And I mean, I guess that's basically it. Yeah. So much other things I'm involved with in terms of men and boys.
So you're well versed in this area.
Yes. Uh-huh.
not just because you wear pants, but you got experience.
Yes, definitely, definitely. 20 plus.
All right, Dario Maycock, your turn. Let's hear about you. Can you
Hey,
hear?
good afternoon, Bahamas. Good
Yeah, go ahead.
afternoon, Michelle. Thank you very much for the opportunity to come before you all to talk. Hear me?
Yes.
We can, yes.
Can you hear me? That's like
Yes, we
okay,
can.
great,
Yeah.
great, great. To talk about Dario Maycock. Dario Maycock is not as dressed as Brother Pastor Williams did. Of our youth, but I've been in the youth program now for over 25 years with the Bahama Youth Brass Band as a former director of the Church of God of Prophecy. I am
Mhm.
presently the men's ministry director for the Blue Hill Road Church of God of Prophecy. And after about a year and a half ago, after experiencing COVID, you know, you had a come to Jesus moment again, and the Lord directed me and reminded me of a calling that He placed on my life some 16 years ago, which is we call it Mod Squared, which is Man of Today, Man of Tomorrow. It's a mentoring program for our boys into men. So it'll be a program that we just starting that will mentor our boys from the grade 3 level all the way to the age 2025. So
All right.
now I was introduced to this particular flirt program by Brother Dave himself, because I contacted him and let him know what I was doing. And he said, there's a program here that is just starting at the Ministry of Social Services and Urban Renewal
Mhm.
Department of Gender and was hooked from there on in, Michelle. And now I'm here talking about flirt.
Sounds good. Now, I think you're a little bit in the matrix, so your internet connection is, I think, dipping in and out. So I don't know if it'll be helpful for you to sign out and sign back in, if that would make a difference. But you seem to be, not on a steady stream. So let's hope that you are able to stay on throughout the broadcast. Okay, so flirt. I like that name. This event that's coming up, and we're not just going to talk about the event, but we're going to talk about why this event is needed more so. But this is being put on by the Ministry of Social Services and Urban Development, Department of Gender and Family Affairs Males Desk, in conjunction with FLIRT, FLIRT, and that stands for Fathers Learning. What is this? Instructing, realigning teens. Fathers Learning, Instructing, realigning teens. National Men in Unity Saving Our Children. I love it. Why is this event, reach one, necessary?
I'll let Dario go first. Go ahead, Dario. Okay. If we can't get Dario yet, why is this important? Because when we look at the challenges that we face with our men and our boys,
Go ahead.
and particularly, as you know, I always speak from the prison perspective because of the fact that I spend so much time at the Department of Corrections, including I was just there Monday. And it's so amazing is that after 20 plus years, today I still, even Monday after Monday, every time I go in there, my heart is heavy. In 2019, the statistics indicated that 70% of persons incarcerated were 35 years and younger. And then when we look at it, we also have a group of teens. We have quite a number of teens that haven't been incarcerated, and especially in regards to my work with boys, young men at the Simpson Penn, William A. Pratt School. But the point is, we want to reach out. We recognize that as believers, we believe that for the situation to turn around in this country, we need to get back to our rightful place. And we recognize that we are strong believers that when we as men take our rightful place as head of our homes, prophet, priests, kings, that will start the transformation or the change that takes place with the challenges that we face in this country with our boys and our young men. And one may say, well, Dave, why do you say that? And I always refer back to a session I had at maximum security where out of the 100 men who I was talking to and sharing with, 80 of them raised their hands and indicated they grew up without a father. So that on another session I had at a boys' school, 60% of those boys at the Simpson Pen raised their hands and indicated that they did not grow up without a father.
Mhm.
So that tells me, and I'm no scientist, I'm no psychologist, but that tells me that a part of the problem or the challenge is the absentee of fathers in the home. And this is why programs like these and others I'm involved with, to see what can we do as men to reach out and to encourage other men to get back to our rightful role. I want to give it to Dario.
Well, before Dario
Okay.
jumps in, I just want to say that what you are saying has been studied and proven in other jurisdictions as well.
Okay.
I remember seeing what do you call it, a documentary some years ago about the young men that were on death row, I think in California. And there was I think Pastor Dave Burrows here in the Bahamas did some work on this. And I think he was the one who played a video that I saw at a presentation that he was making about this fatherlessness problem. And the young men that were interviewed in that video
Yes.
were saying how they hated their father.
Wow.
Why? Because he was never there.
Oh, wow.
And that hatred spilled out into them becoming violent offenders.
Okay.
And so this whole documentary or this video that Pastor Dave played at that time was showing the connection between fatherlessness
Yes.
and young men who just are lost.
Yes.
But going beyond just saying the father was not there, and I want to make clear that we're not talking about just being absent from the home, because you could have some fathers who are in the home and still absent.
Right. That's correct.
Right. So, but the young men in this particular video grew up without any fathers.
Yes.
And they were members of gangs. They were, on death row for committing the most horrendous crimes. And the common denominator, the thread that was there present throughout it all, was that there was no father influence in their lives. So, Dario, I don't know if you want to jump in here.
Hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you. I guess we might as well take the video out and just deal with you by phone.
Yes.
Okay.
That's great.
Go ahead. We're listening.
Yes. I grew up in a family of 11 siblings. My parents at 12. Mom had actually 16 before I died. Both parents in the home. My father was a deacon inside the church. Like I said, I was from Church of God Prophecy, Blue River Road, to Maycock.
Mm-hmm.
And my mother, Rose Maycock, is a missionary. And she believed in helping people. 9 boys. All of those 9 boys grew up in such a traditional Christian family home. 2 of them were in gang. One was even a gang leader. So I somewhat understand what you said, Michelle. My father was there, but by the time the younger ones came around, his impact declined, and he left up the training of the younger ones up to the older ones. So therefore, the father can be there, but his influence may not be the same. My father was a very strict, very strict man, a man of respect, a man of high respect. So I think the key there is not so much the single parent or the father of the home, but I think the key there is when the father influence and presence is not there. But he could be in the home, but his influence and presence is not there. And I know for the younger ones, yes, that occurred, and I saw that. I saw that between the 9 of us boys, and it's as if the discipline that my father had on his boys ended with myself. So of course the other 3 after me, it's a little different. Thank God, none of us went to jail though.
Right.
But I can say 2 of them did join gang, and one was a gang leader.
Wow. I have a question that's being posted on Facebook by William Campbell. It says, The question should be, why is this so where the men aren't home? I have to go to the root in order to get to the fruit. What are your thoughts on that, gentlemen?
My thoughts on that is why the men aren't home. One, we have not been trained to be at home. That's number one. We have been trained in many different directions, and I believe in the Word of God. I was trained on the Word of God, and the Word of God tells me to that if you train up a child in the way he should go, he should not depart from it.
Right.
I'm a believer that all that we are reaping is from the training. And our problem is we think teaching is training. Teaching is not training. And therefore, because the training is lacking, because training involves time, training involves patience, and we as fathers have not been trained to stay at home and to be patient with our children and to be involved with our children. We have left it up to our wives. We have left it up to the mothers, and because of that, we are losing. But it's simply because, of my point of view, what I've realized is that we have not been trained as fathers to be at home and to be responsible and to train our children. So that's what we are lacking. Dave?
What I'll say is to add to it is this. The spiritual and the moral values that we as men grew up with, and I'm going to refer to myself being a person over 50 years old, we have gone away from that. I did not grow up without a father in the home. So who did I have? I had my mother. And my mother was a strong disciplinarian. She ensured that I went to school. She ensured that certain time I was home. She ensured that when dark fall, you got to be to bed. And so I think that what has happened, including myself, I'm guilty of it now too. Having a 16-year-old, I'm guilty that we have gone away as men. We have gone away from a lot of those moral, those spiritual values that we ourselves were taught. And we allow a lot of freedom. And as a result of it, I believe is part of the problem. I'll give you another example. Growing up, I didn't have choice. I didn't have the choice to determine what I'm going to eat for breakfast, what I'm going to eat for lunch. And me growing up with four children in my household, they had that choice. And again, I say I'm wrong for it. So I think these are some of the reasons why there's the absentee father in the home. We, as men, as fathers, we need to get back to the strong moral, the spiritual values that we ourselves were brought up in.
You know, gentlemen, when we were growing up, there was a sense of community.
Okay, right.
It was truly a village that was raising that child.
That's correct.
So even if that boy, that girl did not have a father figure within the home,
right,
there were sufficient people within the community,
yes,
who stepped in.
That's correct.
To help to raise these children.
Right.
So at the end of the day, not only could I not get away or get away with foolishness within your house, but you best be on your best behavior in the community.
That's correct.
Because the community was also involved in your rearing.
That's right.
We have become such an isolated society. Everybody into their own thing,
yes,
doing their own thing.
Right.
That there isn't that sense of a village raising a child anymore.
Don't touch my child.
And to some degree, you can understand it because we're obviously not in the same time that we were back then. What do I mean by that? Back then, you didn't have to worry as much about people preying on your children.
Yes, yes.
You could have a greater degree of trust with your neighbors, with the community back then.
Right.
I'm not saying that there was not a situation where you may have had, somebody, a bad apple in the community.
Right.
But compared to the era in which we live now, I can understand people not being trustworthy of their neighbors, etc., because you don't know what these people are into nowadays.
We agree.
But yet we've got to find a way to bring back that community spirit.
Yes.
That village raising the child, because over 70% of the homes in this country are led by single women.
Yes.
That's a reality that we have to
Right.
face.
Yes.
And I don't think it's any accident that we see what we see happening in our community when you couple that with that information. I believe there's a direct impact on this whole pandemic of fatherlessness in this nation, and the direction that we see our young people going in. Your thoughts, gentlemen?
Michelle,
Yes.
having 70% of the homes now raised with single parents, mainly by our mothers. When I look over the history as in the Bahamas, I don't see that as unique because we growing up, I think we always had that challenge, and even in church, there were so many single mothers in the church, but what they did, they allowed their children to carry their surname. So I grew up thinking that they were married, their husband just died, or their husband just died. That's how I grew up because I always was raised to think the best of every situation, everybody. I think the problem is deeper than that. I think we have become selfish as a people because, like I said, I don't think our situation has changed much. I still think we had a high level of single mothers back then.
I'm not saying it didn't exist, but it wasn't nearly as it is today in terms of the sheer numbers.
But we didn't pay attention to it. You still there?
I'm still there. I'm listening.
Okay. Yes. I think our problem is, okay, I like to, I cook, as you can see on the screen, I'm a heavy set guy, right? So I like to cook. So I like to explain it in the way of cooking. When you cook your peas and rice, you change one ingredient, just one ingredient in that peas and rice,
Mm-hmm.
you change the flavor or you change the color.
Right.
But it's not going to be the same.
Right.
As simple as ingredient as salt, if you take out salt out of that peas and rice, that is not going to taste the same.
Right.
We have changed, most of us, and I am like Dave, 54 to be exact. When we were growing up, we said something very foolish that I'm not going to raise my child the way I was raised.
Right.
Mhm.
Not realizing that, okay, when you do that, you're changing the ingredient of your rice.
Mm.
And when you change the ingredient of your rice, you're changing the outcome of your rice.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the problem is because we are doing it for the first time, unlike the rice, when we know we don't put the salt in the rice, it's going to be bland. When we change the ingredients of how we raise our children from how we were raised, we don't know what the outcome is going to be because we have never seen it because everyone is raised differently until the end result. And by then we realize that we have a problem. If you look at the age group, I always tell persons, if you look at the age group of our teens and young males that are creating a problem right now, and some of our young women, that's our children. They are between the age of 35 and younger.
Mm-hmm.
That's my generation children.
Mm-hmm.
And we would want to say, I'm not going to raise my child the way I was raised.
Mm-hmm.
And now we are seeing the fruit of our labor.
So this is an experiment gone wrong.
Big time.
Mm.
You know, and it is not too late lest somebody here accuse us of being negative and speaking about the past. One of the things I'd like to share, if I was to become the prime minister tomorrow, I would implement immediately a national youth service. Now, as a young man, 21 years old, over 30 years ago to BEC, when I came on the job, I could remember a person saying to me, "Oh, Dave, you going in Pinland Army." But of course, I didn't understand what they was talking about then, because I think the criteria was if you were 35, you exempted. But you're all going in Pinland Army, not me.
Mm-hmm.
But now looking back 30 plus years, and I reminded that gentleman of that sometime last year.
Mm-hmm.
Both of us have now left BC, and I reminded him of that on the beach. I say, won't you agree with me? Because he always saying, boy, Dave, you still fooling around with these bunch of whatever men. I say, don't you agree with me that statement you made years ago, if we'd joined Pinland Army, this country would have been better? And he said, yes. Because now he's a senior citizen. He's 70.
Right.
And he's concerned certain places he don't go in the night, he ain't going here and there. I say, so if we had gone, and that's why I reminded him of that statement. I said, if we had gone in Pinland Army, then this nation would have been shaped. And so my point is going forward, because you may say that's the past. I'm saying we need to implement immediately a national youth service that is mandatory for our young men. I commend what the Defense Force and the police and the prison are doing. We need to extend it every Saturday, Sunday, right? Every Saturday, Sunday, we need to have them out there. My church, the Adventist church, we got the Pathfinders. We need to have these young men, and it must be mandatory, because we got to start now. Get them at the primary school level, get them at the junior school, get them at the senior high school. And then 10, 15, 20 years from now, when I will become a 70-year-old plus person, I'll be able to look back and recognize that, hey, the decision we made today made a difference for the future generation.
I remember that conversation when Cylinden came up with the idea of a national service. And of course, they made it a political thing.
Right.
Shut it down. Old Pinland trying to get his own army, yada, yada, yada. Shut the idea down for the sake of politics and nothing else. And what amazed me was years later, some of those very same people who were so vocal against it came up saying, oh, we need some kind of national service, but it's calling it something else.
Okay.
And I said to myself, okay, this could have been enforced years ago. How many young people have fallen through the cracks because of your political foolishness?
Yes.
Again, the problem is we put politics ahead of everything in this country.
That's correct.
If it ain't my idea,
yes,
out with the bathwater, throw the baby. And then years later, you stand there wondering what went wrong. We got to stop that foolishness. This country's too small for that. We got to take a break. On the other side of the break, we're going to continue this conversation about Each One, Reach One, this event coming up that is showing men how to teach boys to become men, and men, in some cases, to be men. We'll be back after these words from our sponsors.
Understanding your microbiome, also known as your gut ecosystem, can change everything you thought you knew about nutrition, digestion, immunity, and metabolism. Keeping your gut ecosystem healthy and balanced is essential. Ultimate Microbiome by Longevity was specifically formulated to optimize this ecosystem. It provides the advanced support your gut needs through prebiotic, probiotic, and postbiotic supplementation. Our unique blend of probiotics includes Lactobacillus and Plantarum, healthy bacteria that can help prevent harmful bacteria from taking over your gut. Increasing your gut's population of beneficial bacteria creates a more balanced gut microbiome, which has been shown to aid in weight loss, skin health, sleep, mood, and may even help with seasonal allergies. Ultimate Microbiome also promotes the production of postbiotics. Postbiotics are key to help regulate your gastrointestinal health. To enhance digestion, Digizyme Multi-Enzyme Complex, a blend of 5 specific enzymes, has been added to Ultimate Microbiome. It can help break down food so your body can better absorb nutrients. Plus, we've added our proprietary I-26 Hyperimmune Egg Powder to aid in the elimination of disease-causing gut bacteria and help your body balance its immune response. Ultimate Microbiome, the scientific, proprietary, and holistic approach to gut health that helps optimize your body's entire gut ecosystem. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for rims, tints, and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Tracklight, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires. Cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
Blessed love.
To To stay healthy, it's crucial to make sure you get the nutrition you need every day. But it's difficult to get all your recommended vitamins and minerals from food alone. Even in the United States, 94% of people are deficient in at least one nutrient. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 by Longevity is a simple, convenient, and affordable way to help your body get the essential nutrients it needs. It's an advanced plant-driven multivitamin mineral complex that contains certified organic whole foods, trace minerals, and antioxidants. BTT 2.0 supports your body's natural defense system with a proprietary blend of energy-boosting and body-loving nutrients, plus prebiotics, probiotics, amino acids, and enzymes that support digestion. With an unusually high ORAC score of 8,000, you get even more antioxidants to help combat free radicals that can cause damage to your cells. But to get the most benefit and value from any multivitamin, your body must be able to break down the nutrients so you can fully absorb them. Otherwise, they'll just pass through your system without doing any good. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 was specially formulated with synergizing cofactors to ensure you get maximum nutrient absorption. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 is the easiest way to give your body the balance and complete daily vitamin mineral supplement it needs for optimal support of your overall health. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
This portion of GPS is brought to you by Tiki Bikini Hut at Junkanoo Beach. Great food, cool tropical drinks, and family fun in the sun.
Welcome back to GPS Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. We are streaming live on Facebook on the official Michelle Malcolm Facebook page, as well as the official Global 99.5 FM Facebook page. The telephone numbers to call are 3260271, 3260271, 3260272, 3260272. The WhatsApp line 8010271, 8010271. So my guests today are Elder Dave Williams, and Darian is still on the line.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, because his video has dropped out. Now, two other guests just walked into the studio. We have to take a moment to set them up. So before we do all of that, let's just dive back into the conversation with who is here, and then we will try to get them all set up. Okay, so gentlemen, let's get back to where we were in this conversation. Okay, so we're talking about the fact that this is a problem that in part is because of the fact that the modern day parent decided that they didn't want to go the same route that their parents went in terms of how to raise these boys.
Right.
And we see it all over where, my parents were too hard on me,
Yes.
and I want things to be easier for my child.
Yes.
And this is a trend that we see with millennials in general.
That's
that parents decided that their parents were too strict on them.
Yes.
They didn't want things to be as hard for their children as it was for them.
That's correct.
And so they took away responsibility.
Oh, yes.
They took away earning what you get as
Right.
opposed to just getting it by osmosis.
Yes.
So, for example, when we were playing sports as children, the only way to get a medal was if you landed in the top three spots.
Right.
You go to the podium and get the gold, the silver, or the bronze. If you want one of them medals, you don't go home crying, I ain't getting no medal. Improve your skills.
That's correct.
Work harder.
Yes.
And maybe next time you will get a medal.
That's correct.
But what have we done with the millennials? Oh, every child is special.
Mm-hmm.
Every child deserves to be encouraged. So every child should get a medal just for participating.
Mm-hmm.
And in our effort to make these children feel wanted or loved or accepted or whatever, many parents, many modern day parents or parents of the millennials
Mm-hmm.
took the position of, you are special. You are special. Never forget that you are special. Okay, that's fine. But the child grew up believing that you special.
Right.
Now they become an adult, a young adult. They go into the real world.
Yes.
And they get a culture shock when they realize you ain't special.
Right.
The world ain't gonna stop just for you.
Yes, that's right.
And so some of them go into this like shock.
Yeah.
What you mean I'm not special? All my life I got exactly what I wanted just because I wanted it.
Right.
I didn't have to work for nothing.
Yes.
I didn't have to earn anything.
No.
I didn't learn responsibility.
That's correct.
I wanted it and I was given it. So what you mean? I gotta work. What you mean? I gotta earn something. Don't you know I'm special?
Yes. Prom comes to mind, when as you shared that, because for me, who've been out of school 40 years, I think about the proms. When we look at the proms that is happening today, we're rewarding these children, and these children doesn't have the 2 point, but yet we spending thousands of dollars on cars and hotel and dresses and stuff. And then after that, then what? So this is why, as parents, right, we have to take a part of the blame. Yes, that's my child. She's special. I can see that she get the best, so he get the best. Okay, so we spend all kind of money on prom, and then when all this big prom over, and we rent this car and all of this, then what afterwards? This is a part of the problem. This is a part of the challenges that we have when we're talking about dealing with our teens, right? And even for us as men. And I'll give an example. I was with my son the other day, and just this week in the mall, preparing for camp. And I was getting him certain things. And would you believe it? Over the 9 things I purchased him, the one thing I didn't get for him, I noticed the expression on his face change. In my days, I couldn't go around my mother like that. You know what I mean? But this is where, we allow these children to go. Over 10 things, he get 9. And because he didn't get that one. So I'm saying to us as men, as fathers, as young boys, God has a calling on our life. He has a plan for our life. And we as men, as a part of this program, this is what we're seeking to do: educate, transform, change. And this is why we're inviting persons to, they ought not to beat us there. They ought to meet us there at the Tom the Bird Grand Park this coming Saturday, 12 noon, because an opportunity like this, can you imagine a young man's got his car parked and he's showing you how to change oil, or another gentleman got his car and he's trying to show you how to change a tire, or another person got a door set up trying to show young boys how to change lock. Somebody else maybe may have a little setup they're showing you how to just cut a grass. We need to model our boys. I didn't have no one to show me those things. I didn't have a father figure. And this is what we're trying to do. Each one, reach one. And we also want to say to the first 50 fathers in celebration of our 50th anniversary, register and you get a free t-shirt, a gift with your son. Because this is what we're trying to do, bring men and boys together. I plan to come and attend with one of my sons. I'll be encouraging more men to come out there, be with your sons, hang. I agree in this age, Michelle. I must admit it's sad that our sons now, for me, I guess, they don't want to be with us as much as they used to. I give an example. We were Junkanoo last year, walking down Bay Street. So I noticed my son keep lagging behind. So I'm trying to figure like why he lagging behind. Only discover he ain't want his friends see him walking with me.
You know that's just the way it's always been. You get to a certain age and you kind of ashamed of your parents.
It's amazing.
And don't want people to know, the kind of relationship you have with your parents. So even if it's a good one, that's just a part of growing up, I think.
I mean, when you want something, you always come in your way.
Yeah, go ahead.
Can I weigh in on your special on
please
politics before you move from that?
Yes, please.
Let me weigh in on the special first, and I want to come back to the point you made on the politics. Michelle, we were all raised that we were special. Every day, we were raised that we were special. And so that's not the problem. But the problem that we have back to the ingredients is that although we were raised that we were special, we were raised to also be accountable, and we were raised to also work for what we got. My generation, like I said, what we have done, we removing that ingredient, we have raised our children to think that they are special and they are entitled And that's the biggest problem.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So they become lazy,
Yes.
they entitle, then they begin to dictate to the parents
Mm-hmm.
rather than the parent
Yes.
their children. And therefore I want that, I'm gonna get that, because why? Not only am I special, but I'm entitled to this.
Right.
And that's a big problem. The problem now with the politics is that, yes, politics we know plays a part in everything. We can't run from that. Just like religion. We can't run from those two factors in the Bahamas. But what we can do, and back to what Elder Williams have mentioned, which is flirt is now embarking on, is that while we realize that, okay, the religion is not going to change and the politics are not going to change, but what can change is that we can change. We can make a difference.
Yes.
So what we can do now is partner with the government and become a strong force. Plus, united we are. It's difficult to divide us, and divided we will fall. So we become united as a flirt, so that regardless to what political party is in power, we are still strong, because in flirt we have PLPs, we have FNM, we have COI, we have all. We have right now there are about 3 to 4 different religions that I can call off the top of my head, which is Muslim, Christianity, and Rastafarian, that makes up at this point flirt. And flirt means Fathers Learning Instructing Realigning Teens. Fathers Learning Instructing Realigning Teens. And yes, we flirt because we want to get the attention of the Bahamas. You know, when a man flirts with you, Michelle, he gets your attention, doesn't he? Regardless of now, you may reject him.
It depends on the man.
That's what I'm saying. But he still gets your attention.
No, I understand your point. I only pull in your leg.
And then you decide, okay, this is a good thing. And with us, it's the same thing. When the flirt comes at you, the Bahamas, you begin to get your attention. Now, the thing is, we have to come at you strong, and we have to represent well to maintain your attention. Okay? And therefore, that's why with flirt, in this instance, I don't think this one is going to go away easily. This one is not going to go away easily. And the power of flirt also, because the minister spoke to us this week, I know you're going to learn a little bit more about that during the conversation. And one thing we realize that is expected of us to also bring before the ministry policies and laws, recommend policies and laws that can reverse the negative trend that our country is on from the perspective of the man. So we have an opportunity now to sit down as men, and as Elder Williams mentioned, he mentioned about the youth program that our father of the nation was introducing. We have the opportunity not only to reintroduce that, but to improve on top of that. Okay, to make sure that when it's come forward, that it's entrenched and that it can work. So, you know, there's a lot of opportunities that we have, and we as men, we just got to unite and do what we got to do. Because in uniting, I go back to the scripture of when they were building the Tower of Babel, when the Lord came back and said, hey, man, and them people are one. And whatever they decide to do, they will accomplish it. The men are becoming one, Michelle. The men are becoming one. Enough said for that at this time.
Well, you know, I don't think anybody would have an objection to that, because it's so badly needed. And it's not just a matter of men teaching or having a relationship with their boys, because women need to have that influence of the father as well.
Yes.
You know, I know I said it's an all-man show, but, you know, I don't want y'all to think that it's only the boys you need to be concerned about. They say for the woman, for the girl, her first love is her father.
Right.
And so if the father is not there, if there's no fatherly and no paternal influence in that home, it affects both boys and girls.
That's why we have teens. We didn't specifically say men. We usually say teens. Right. Include both, inclusive.
Right, right, right. Okay, so I'm going to add one more person to the stream. Mr. Bars, before I add you, I need to turn down your sound on your device so we don't get any feedback when I do add you to the stream. Okay. Um, okay, let's bring him into the stream now. I still can hear myself in the background, so you need to do a little bit more to turn that audio down. Maybe what we need to do is shut the door so that audio doesn't leak in. But welcome to the show, Mr. Burrows. Go ahead, we're listening to you. Mr. Burrows?
Yes.
Yeah, welcome to the show. Okay, we just lost connection with him. All right. Let's continue the conversation. Yeah, you might want to go out there and help them, Jason, to maybe give them the internet connection for the building. So yeah, gentlemen. So this event then isn't just about men and boys; it's about men and teens.
That's right. That's the idea. That's why we cover teens, because while our primary focus is men and boys, but obviously we encouraging fathers, if you can bring your girl teens out there also, that's a wonderful idea, because the idea is, now remember, focus is on building our fathers, our men.
Mm-hmm.
And since we want them to come out there to bring the girls, bring the men, bring the boys, because we'll be seeking to do that is encourage fathers to get back into our rightful role.
Absolutely, desperately needed in this country.
But
yes, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, but on that note too, now, the women's desk is doing a wonderful job with the women and girls.
Right.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So while we are not forsaking our girls, they're not going to be the major focus from the man's desk.
Understood.
Because they are from the man's desk, but we are not going to forsake our girls, because for a man like me, who have 3 girls and 1 son,
Mm-hmm.
I can't forsake my girls.
Right.
Okay, but I realize that the women there, and we compliment them, and they're so, and you all are so far ahead of the men's desk, because we just coming out of the gate, and you're all down the road shouting, you all rule the world, you know, women rule the world, women rule the world.
Who run the world, girls?
yeah, who run the world, girls.
Oh, Lord.
So we don't need to worry much on that, but we still need to worry about
both are needed. Honestly, both are needed.
Yeah.
Both are needed.
Yeah, go ahead.
I came across a very funny video the other day. This husband and wife were there with their toddler, who was a little girl. And, they say little girls have special relationships with their dads. Right. So the wife came over. The husband was sitting near the dining table where the little girl was sitting. And the wife came over and she sat in the husband's lap and they started to embrace her. The little girl started pulling the mother away, said, no, 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 no. Mm-hmm. Stop. So the woman was like, why? This is my husband. And she's like, no, my daddy, stop. And so the woman is like, so what you want me to do? So she say, fall down off of my daddy. So she said, you want me to fall on the floor? I'm not going to sit on the floor. This is my husband. What you want me to do? This little girl couldn't have been older than 2 or 3. She say, go cooking.
Whatever it takes, get away from
Whatever it takes.
Yes.
Leave my daddy alone, because he is mine and mine alone.
Yes.
It was hilarious. But it just goes to show you that fatherly presence is needed.
Yes.
Both for the male and the female.
That's correct.
And we don't want it to get twisted. I understand what you're saying in terms of the women's desk doing the great job that they're doing. But men, understand that as the foundation, because that's really what you're supposed to be.
Yes.
The foundation. Both your male and female child need your influence.
Yeah.
Without it, I always use as the example, the thing with the foundation is when you build in a house, the first thing you put down is the foundation, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But as you continue to build a house, you don't see the foundation.
No, that's correct.
But the foundation is critical to the stability of that house. Mind you, you don't see the foundation up front. You see the walls, you see the pretty window treatments, you see the ceiling, you see the expensive door, but holding all of that together is that foundation.
Let me give you a financial tip to your listeners. This is something I learned some years ago and I've done this ever since. You can not insure your foundation and it automatically takes 10% off your insurance because 9 out of 10 times, nothing happens to the foundation. So you go into your insurance company tomorrow and say, hey, I do not wish to insure my foundation, and your insurance drops automatically by 10%. I learned that and I've been practicing that for years. But continue.
Wow.
Yeah, because it don't go nowhere. We don't have earthquakes. So foundation doesn't go anywhere. It makes your insurance 10% less.
Interesting.
Yes.
But yeah, gentlemen, you need to. I surprised Dr. P in Angolia. What do you name? Mr. P, Dr. P?
Yeah.
I surprised he in Angolia.
Alpha male.
As much as he like to talk about the man and this and the next, it's your show now. It's time to hear from you. But yeah.
We probably representing Mr. P well.
I hear that. I thought he would have been my first call of the day. But but man, you are the foundation. And here's something that Pastor Miles always used to say. Because a lot of men, I think, or I shouldn't say a lot, some men, I believe, think that this responsibility of being the foundation is too heavy to carry. It's just too much. And so they run away from that responsibility because they think, oh, there's so much stress. You want me to carry all of this weight. But Pastor Miles always used to say, you were built for that.
Yes.
You were built to carry this weight. The challenge is, though, when, like y'all was saying early in the show, nobody teaches you that you're built for that. Nobody teaches you that written within your DNA is the ability to carry that weight. Then instead of embracing it, you run away from it.
The scripture support us. God says he'll never put more on you than you can bear. And so one of the things I think, Michelle, we have to do, right? And I'm saying at some point this year, I have to put it together. We need a space for men to gather together and talk. I saw it happen last year where we were at Dr. Carlos Reed Place, the Hope Center.
Mm-hmm.
And we were there for another reason, part of the alternative to gang. Apples knows about it as our vice president. And one or two male began to share. This was all male. And that started a chain reaction. One gentleman got up and shared the experience he was going through in his house.
Mm-hmm.
And it started a chain reaction where a number of men get up to the point where it brought one of them to tears. So here it is. We were meeting regularly, talking about alternative to gang and all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And there were persons right inside of us who were going through some stuff.
Okay.
So I'm saying, and what that made me realize is that we need to have more forums like that. Because it took a shift from what we were there for that evening to just talk. And that way also, we had a gentleman that was able to say, hey, I've been married for 30 plus years. And he was able to vent to one of these gentlemen and he put his hand around him and say, look here, I understand what you're going through and whatever. You know, this is my advice when me and my wife went through this and it wasn't always a bed of roses. And so I agree, we need more forum for men because men hurt too.
Yes.
Men hurt too. And we need more forum for men to sit around and to talk and to share their experiences.
All right.
You know, Michelle, you quoted Pastor Monroe. And one of my favorite quotes from Pastor Monroe is, when purpose is
not
unknown,
known, abuse is inevitable.
It's inevitable.
Yes.
And when we look at that word abuse could mean overuse, or abuse could mean misuse.
Abnormal use.
In the wrong place, right? And I think, and that's one of the purpose of you know, the present 17 to 19 organization that's a part of Flirt now.
Right.
Our job, which is mentoring our boys and men, and as you mentioned, you are correct. We are also mentoring men, because if you don't mentor the men who have to now turn around and mentor boys,
right,
we still end up with a problem.
Right.
And so our job is now as mentor organization is to get every boy and every man and girls too that we come in contact with to understand their purpose so that they will not abuse or they will not allow themselves to be abused.
Right.
You know, so that, I mean, you quoted Miles Monroe, that's one of my driven thoughts. Actually, that's even in my in my flyer for March Square.
All right. Listen, we're going to take a break. When we come back on the other side of the break, during the break, we'll try to get the other gentlemen set up who are here and get them in on this conversation as well. Stay with us. This is GPS. We'll be back after these words from our sponsor.
Your body's immune system is under constant pressure from things like stress, lack of exercise, and toxins in the environment. It's crucial to be proactive and support your immune system with the nutrients it needs to function effectively. But it's often hard to get these nutrients from food alone. Introducing fast-acting Zinc Plus Immune Support by Longevity. Unlike zinc-only supplements, Zinc Plus Immune Support builds on the proven power of zinc and adds complementary nutrients to give your immune system extra support. Vitamin D helps balance the effects of zinc, while our proprietary blend of natural fruit and root extracts provides the extra help your immune system needs to work against daily stressors. And we've included Longevity's exclusive plant-derived minerals to give your body the minerals it needs, but can't get from food alone. And because Zinc Plus Immune Support is delivered in a great-tasting, sugar-free, berry-flavored lozenge, it encourages quicker absorption of all these nutrients into your body. Zinc Plus Immune Support. Zinc plus the extra support your body needs to promote a healthy immune system. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for rims, paints, and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Tracklight, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires. Cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
Blasted love.
It's gotten harder and harder to get your daily requirement of vital nutrients from food alone. Without additional vitamin and nutrient support, your health and well-being can suffer drastically. That's why Z-Radical was specifically formulated. It combines a blend of antioxidant-rich vitamins, minerals, and botanicals with the protective powers of fucoidan to help fill the gaps from lack of nutrients in your foods. The core of Z-Radical is fucoidan, a naturally occurring polysaccharide that helps stimulate immune reaction, protecting you against inflammation and oxidative stress. We harvest this powerful mineral-rich nutrient from brown seaweed, harvested only from the world's most pristine ocean waters to ensure the purest quality. It's then extracted using cold process technology to ensure maximum levels of bioavailability. Then we add essential vitamins that help to protect your cardiovascular and nervous systems and are crucial for optimal immune and neurological function. Z-Radical also includes a proprietary blend of delicious antioxidant-rich fruits and berries. This great-tasting combination helps your body combat free radical imbalances that can contribute to a variety of degenerative conditions like arthritis and heart disease. Z-Radical. Experience the power of fucoidan with antioxidant-rich berries, 8 essential vitamins, and more to provide you with potent health benefits. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
At Lee Air, safety is our #1 priority. Flying since 1996, we offer scheduled flights into Fresh Creek and Mangrove Key Andros and Great Harbor Key, Berry Island, twice daily, 7 days a week. Affordable charter services are also available to anywhere in the Bahamas and the Caribbean. Lee Air Charter Services. Call 225-3267, 702-7127, or 322-1317 for reservations.
Understanding your microbiome, also known as your gut ecosystem, can change everything you thought you knew about nutrition, digestion, immunity, and metabolism. Keeping your gut ecosystem healthy and balanced is essential. Ultimate Microbiome by Longevity was specifically formulated to optimize this ecosystem. It provides the advanced support your gut needs through prebiotic, probiotic, and postbiotic supplementation. Our unique blend of probiotics includes Lactobacillus and Plantarum, healthy bacteria that can help prevent harmful bacteria from taking over your gut. Increasing your gut's population of beneficial bacteria creates a more balanced gut microbiome, which has been shown to aid in weight loss, skin health, sleep, mood, and may even help with seasonal allergies. Ultimate Microbiome also promotes the production of postbiotics. Postbiotics are key to help regulate your gastrointestinal health. To enhance digestion, Digizyme Multi-Enzyme Complex, a blend of 5 specific enzymes, has been added to Ultimate Microbiome. It can help break down food so your body can better absorb nutrients. Plus, we've added our proprietary I-26 hyperimmune egg powder to aid in the elimination of disease-causing gut bacteria and help your body balance its immune response. Ultimate Microbiome, the scientific, proprietary, and holistic approach to gut health that helps optimize your body's entire gut ecosystem. To learn more, contact your longevity associate.
For all your building needs, it's Carib Construction and Project Management on Gladstone Road. We build it all: schools, homes, hotels, and more, including structures requiring a Phase 3 electrical contractor. We also provide project management services. The first step towards your dream building begins at Carib Construction and Project Management. Call us at 376-1556 or 341-4466.
One of the things I love about the mailboat is their relationship with Bahamas Air. I can earn travel points on my international freight and redeem them when I fly.
For me, online shopping is easy with Mailboat's U.S. addresses and regular freight delivery to Nassau. Plus, I can always prepay customs and freight, and they always notify me when my package arrives.
Yeah, a lot of people think the Mailboat is just for shipping, but they also offer a safe and secure storage facility at affordable rates, all in a central, convenient location.
We also offer passenger service into Freeport multiple times per week with a seating capacity of over 450 persons. With family movies on large screens, one hot meal included, and on-board lounge for snacks and soft drinks. We're the Mailboat. We're bridging people, products, and places.
Executive Printers is your one-stop shop for all your branding and customization needs. Letterheads, envelopes, business cards, invoices, share and gift certificates, rubber stamps, vouchers, funeral programs, brochures, flyers, banners, and promotional items like mugs, water bottles, mouse pads, and key rings, all with personable service and great quality. No project is too small or too large. For great turnaround and competitive pricing, make an executive decision. Call us at 393-5011.
And we are back. Welcome back to GPS Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. Michelle Malcolm here in your company. We are streaming live on Facebook on the official Michelle Malcolm and Global 99.5 FM pages. You can also call in 3260271, 3260271, 3260272, 3260272, or on WhatsApp at 801-0271. 801-0271. That's our WhatsApp line that you can call or text. And we're also streaming on YouTube on the official Global 99.5 FM channel, as well as the official Michelle Malcolm channel. And finally, you can catch us on Cable Bahamas channel 974. Like and share the show. Let everybody know that GPS is on the air. We're talking about an issue, y'all, that needs more attention. You know, if we was talking about transgender today, the phone would have been ringing off the hook. But yet we see young men being slaughtered in our streets far too frequently. We see the negative impacts of homelessness and fatherlessness, and men not taking their rightful place in society, and domestic violence, and all of these challenges that we're facing as a community that are directly impacted by this topic that we're discussing today. And yet y'all are there quiet. We need to talk about issues like the one that we're discussing today. Not to say that, the other ones aren't important, but in case you all haven't noticed, the Bahamas is in trouble. And a major component of the trouble that we're facing is this whole endemic problem of fatherlessness, absent fathers. So we're talking to a group of men today about what we need to do to fix this problem. They have a great event coming up, and we'll talk more about the event a little later on in the show. But for now, we have another person who's just joined us in the studio, and I want you to go ahead and introduce yourself to the audience and tell us who you are and how you're involved with this whole event.
My name is Sheldon Burrows. I'm a thank you, Michelle Malcolm, for allowing me to be here.
Now, speak closer to the microphone.
My name is Sheldon Burrows. I want to thank you, Michelle Malcolm, for allowing me to be here
Mhm.
today,
Mhm.
better known as Apple. For me, I, was a troubled youth.
Okay.
I got through to school in grade 10.
Mm.
And the reality is of my journey was that I didn't grow up with my father. And that is a challenge, what I see for a lot of young men in my time who would join gangs.
Mhm.
The what we had in common was we all was fatherless. And for those who may have had their father was not inside the dwelling home.
Mm.
And so we give hats off to the mothers who would have tried and do their best
Mhm.
to bring us forward. But the reality is of life is to guess what every boy deserves to be nurtured by his father.
Quite frankly, that nurturing is so important because as much as our women are doing their part and trying hard to raise these boys, a boy needs a man to affirm him in order for him to be a man, correct?
Yes, yes. And so what happened was that for me, I, gravitate to the gangs. And for me, I got involved with the rebellion raiders at the time, which I, climb up the ranks, being involved inside the gang, and of course, eventually got into guess what crime. The reality is of the matter is that guess what young boys are hurting, and if they do not have a male figure, be it a stepfather, be it a pastor, a teacher, a good neighbor, a uncle, someone to help them along the way, they're in trouble.
Mm.
They're in big trouble. And I found myself in that realities. And so I personally give my thanks to the late David Markford, former police officer from Elizabeth State, who took us in the back of his yard
Mhm.
and formed the saber-tooth tigers in Elizabeth Estates. Even when I was gang banging, he tell us that, hey, there's hope. And I was eventually connected to another positive organization, which was Project Time, headed by Shelton Beneby. And today, Shelton Beneby took me in as a son.
Mhm.
And over 2 decades, through his mentorship and through his love and through his support, you know what I mean? I am a testimony that God could transform your life.
Amen.
We have a call on the line. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Hello, good day. How you doing?
Excellent. How are you?
Good day, Captain Battle.
Good day.
This is a quite profound topic you guys are talking about. And I'm going to try and bring, from my perspective, being a young father and a young man in this system and in this modern day world. But the truth is, everything out there sounds so nice and is the truth. Nothing disagreeable so far that you said. But until legislation is changed and fathers have more rights for their children, because the truth is, I don't think fathers neglect their kids. And this is my first time coming on the show and advocating for fathers, because I know plenty fathers that were dedicated to family life and their kids. And I think we are at a disadvantage, and until they do something with this gender equality when it comes to men and the rights of their kids and the position to make decisions for their kids and not having to be married to the woman if that be the case. So one day that this family curse could be broken when as we start to get our families back. But I have a daughter. I have a daughter at the age of 18. She dropped out of school, right? And it's sad. I can say it's just because, oh well. But I'm not even upset with her because for one, she was born in October. When a child is born in October, they always have to stay back 1 year, right? You know about that?
Yeah, keep going. We're listening.
Okay, yeah. But after that, her mother refused to put her in school for almost 2 years. And I went around social services for 24 months, agitating for them to force her mother to put her in school. And because I wasn't the father, nobody paid attention to it. And I can say that and cut this whole conversation short. The reason why the world is in trouble and all of this mess going on and all this increased violence, especially with young men, and then this question of homosexuality and sexual orientation is because women aspire to be the head, like you guys were kidding around just now, like girls run the world. See, from you go against what God dealing with or her plan, nothing else could never be in place. And I think fathers gave up their positions and just really stopped fighting for what their real responsibility is. And I think women aspire to be the head. And so from you make the tail the head, everything got to go backwards. That's my 5 cents on it. I don't know if it make any sense, but I stand to be corrected. But I'll sit in and continue to listen to you guys.
Thanks for calling. I just want to say this to you, caller. This whole dynamic between male and female roles in the family structure changed, I think, when there was a world war and men had to go off to fight. And so women, for the first time, were called into the workplace to try to keep the economy going and try to keep, things moving while their men were off fighting a war. They didn't have a choice in the matter at that time. They had to do this in order to keep their nations going because the men were all off fighting in a war. Now, by the time these men came back, the women were so used to now having to go out there and be the breadwinner. They were used to this newfound freedom, this newfound responsibility. And they decided, we ain't going back to being just a housewife who got to rely on you for everything. Because back then, women had to rely, before this war, women had to rely on these men for everything. So I don't think that it's men weren't doing foolishness. They were doing foolishness from them, but the women had no choice but to take it. They didn't have any other options. So when that dynamic changed and women were forced into the workplace, when those men came back home, the women were like, no, we're not going back to being in a position where you control my life to the degree that I have no say in what I want or no say in no, them days over. Now, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on who you talk to, that change, like Darian was saying earlier, if you change one ingredient in the peas and rice, that can change your peas and rice. So that change shifted things, right? From what some would argue was the original intent. But here's the problem. The problem is, okay, I look at myself, right? I grew up in a home where my father was not in the home.
Okay.
My parents were married, separated, never divorced, but I grew up in a home, for all intents and purposes, with no father there. I watched my mother work hard, to fingers to the bone, to raise her 2 children. She didn't have the privilege of sitting back and waiting for any man to come and do for her. She had to feed her 2 children. So I watched a strong woman do what she needed to do to make sure that she and her children were secure. You gonna blame her for that?
No, you can't.
As a result, I watched that and I said to myself subconsciously, ain't no knight in shining armor coming to rescue you. You better be strong. You better be able to take care of yourself.
Yeah.
You better be able to do for you don't have the luxury of sitting back and waiting for the knight in shining armor. That's a fairy tale.
I don't think that necessarily is a fairy tale.
I'm just telling you what my experience was. And this was the experience and is the experience of many women and children in this country. So from the male perspective, you're saying, oh, y'all won't be in charge. Y'all ain't let the man be the man. My point to you is for many women, they don't have a choice. Now, that is not to negate what your experience was, because yes, we do have a problem in this country in particular where women, and in some cases men, are using children as pawns. So they're keeping the men away from the children, which is a mistake. So don't think by what I am saying, I am justifying that type of behavior. That is foolish. Because if you want a well-adjusted adult, I believe that both male and female, mother and father, needs to be in that picture.
That's God's plan.
And when you remove one for whatever reason, then you get a different taste in peas and rice. But my point is that for some, they don't have a choice in the matter. They can't sit back and wait for the knight in shining armor to reach when he ain't got no intention of fulfilling his role. So what does a woman to do?
Get it on her own.
Okay,
I
then.
don't disagree with you.
So I'm not knocking the man, but I'm saying don't knock the woman either for doing what she got to do. And unfortunately, that's where we are. Go ahead, gentlemen. Let me hear from y'all.
I think it's a two-edged sword situation because inside realities, some men drop the ball of their responsibilities.
Without a doubt.
But then at the other flip of the coin, you have a lot of men who
want to be responsible,
who wants to be involved in their children's life.
Yes.
But because of the woman vindictive, and because
it does happen.
The relationship didn't work out well, and because he involved with another person, she intends to make his life a miserable hell.
It does happen.
And what happened is that the law only give rights, particularly at the time, for marriage, kids in marriage.
Okay.
And so the father who has a child and is out of wedlock, he doesn't has the same rights power as the woman. And so because of that, you know what I mean, instead a woman who is more mature and who is more fair would see that she has the power, but she has more power than him, but she wants her child to get the
have that father
nurturing
figure,
of
right?
The father figure.
Right.
But many times the relationship issues what might have took place inside the relationship and because she might still want him, or because she may make you like miserable, she used that power. And these are the realities. But I say, from my experience, is that man or the foundation. And I made a vow to myself, because someone asked me, say, your father's still living? I say, yes. I met him at 40 years of age.
Wow.
And the reality is, in the matter is, I met him to my brother, another outside child, mother funeral, which is his other sweetheart. My mother was his sweetheart too. And these are the realities of these actual relationships that take place, particularly in the 80s and the 90s, would bring these children, which was not made in marriage.
Right.
And these children would have defined themselves. And many children today, there is something what Bob Marley sing in his song, say, is there any hope for the hopeless in us? As a child, you know what I mean? You born in a situation where hurting parents, now you become a hurt child. And you find yourself, and I was finding myself in this because I was remanded at Sandlands at the age of 17. I went to prison at the age of 19. And I have many friends who have went from Boys National School to adolescent ward in Sandlands to prison and to the grave. And many of them, the life what they find themselves in is because of the circumstance they was born in. And they didn't have the nurturing powers to help them get out. I always say that, the power of father and mother is powerful.
Yes.
Because I remember, Henry Bostwick got charged with those 9 bullets. And his father and his mother been to every trial of his case. And you could imagine a young boy in Baintown, or a young boy inside Angliston, or a young boy in Montelites who doesn't has that support.
Right, yes.
Go before the courts. He is lost.
Yes.
He will be lost in the Boys National School, in prison, and come out here and you may say something wrong with his head, but in reality, he doesn't has the family structure support.
I hear you. We have a call on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS. You didn't let me know, so I didn't know. We have another one? Yes? Caller, welcome to GPS.
Hello?
Hi, you on the air?
No, this is Dario.
Oh, okay.
I got dropped and I called back in.
Okay, so what are your thoughts?
Can I wait to that point?
Yes, please.
Okay, good. One thing I like about flirt is that we are men that are united, but we also have our different views. And so you can imagine how our meetings goes. It gets very interesting. And my view on what was just said, especially with the caller, let me first address the caller. Yes, he's right. The gender equality has to be addressed. And we also will have, like I said, the impact as a united group to present to the desk, to the male's desk, the man's desk, policies and also laws that we would like to recommend, also with gender equality.
Right.
First, we must recognize that there is gender equality. Man and woman, single man and woman, they are equal. Their gender is equal. Now, this is a twist for me, and this probably you're going to start getting a lot of call-in. I will instruct my daughters. Like I said, I have 3 daughters and 1 son, and I instruct each of my daughters. I said that you are equal to any man. You submit to no man because you are equal to them. I said, but the moment you get married, you must submit to your own husband.
That's a conflicting message, though. You confusing them girls.
No, I'm not. If you are single, you are equal. But when you become married, you have to submit to your husband. Your husband. If you want to submit to a man, your husband, do not get married.
Stay single.
Stay single. Stay single. And another thing too, we must understand too, our women, we always refer to them as weak or something, but our women are not weak, they're strong.
Y'all try pushing one baby out of one crevice.
No,
and we'll see just how weak women are.
No, let me finish. I'm not even talking about that physical part. I'm talking about strength comes from the mental state, the spiritual state. And why I say that is this: when God created man, He said nothing. After He created everything, He said, it is good. Then He created man. He said nothing. Then He created woman, a helpmeet. A helpmeet. Now, somebody that is weaker, somebody that brings you down, cannot be a helpmeet. For somebody to help you, they must bring in equal strength, or they must bring in a little bit more strength to help you up. And I go back to Dr. Miles Monroe point on purpose. Our problem is we have not really studied and understand the purpose also of women. Because of that, we have abused our women. And through that abuse, when they became enlightened, they say, you only taking us back to that abuse.
Right.
So we ain't submitting to you all because you all don't know how to handle leadership and authority, because you all become abusive because you all don't understand the purpose of it. My life become easy. I always tell my wife this, especially for the last 2 years. We've been married now for 27 years. I think 25 years of my marriage was the hardest time of my marriage. And the last 2 years I've enjoyed. You know why, Michelle?
Why?
Because I understood my wife was a helpmeet. And I must use her to help me with where I'm going. When I was trying to tell her and direct her, and instead of allowing her to help me, I struggled. We struggled. The moment I said, hold on, the Lord gave this woman to me, and this woman accepted me to help me. So let her help me. Then we come to that realization and understand that's what our wives are for.
Put your ego down.
Our lives become easier. But our problem is we are trying to make single women our helpmeet. It don't work that way. Not our single women. They're not our helpmeet. Our wives are our helpmeet. Our single women are equal to us and submit to no man.
Well, I'll tell you another thing that Pastor Miles used to say, and then we got to take our final break of the show. One thing Pastor Miles always used to say is that when God created Eve, Adam wasn't sitting down on the wall smoking weed. He was doing something. He was busy working. And the work that he was doing required him to need an Eve. He needed help. He needed help carrying the load of the work that he was doing. These fellas, many fellas nowadays, they won't carry no load. They won't work. Or they will say to the woman, you're supposed to be my helpmeet. You're supposed to follow me. But where you going? If you ain't going no place, what you want me to follow? I need y'all to chime in on that. I want you to think about it first. And then we can take this break. Because I'm glad y'all dealing with teens, not just males, but teens.
Yes.
Right? We done changed the recipe of this piece and rice so much we don't recognize it no more. We got to figure out how to get the recipe back, but understanding that some things will never go back to the original of what they were. They just won't. because women have now tasted the freedom. I don't even know if I want to say power, but a woman like myself, my parents sent me off to university. I went off, I got educated. I came back with a career, all of this stuff. And I have had men in my life who I've dated who try to tell me, but you got to give this up if you want to be with me. Excuse me? My parents ain't spend all their money to send me off to university to get an education, to diminish myself just to make you feel like a man. Them days over. So we're looking at a new dynamic. How do we, or is it possible for both to exist? I want you to think about that. We can take this break, then we can talk about that on the other side. Stay with us. This is GPS.
Blood sugar levels play a key role in your appetite, weight gain, and overall health. When you have a blood sugar spike, you can feel confused, dizzy, and even have increased cravings. Eating carbohydrates, sugary or fatty foods, and not exercising can all cause blood sugar spikes. But now you have help in managing blood sugar levels. Sweeties by Youngevity was designed to help support healthy blood sugar levels so you can power through your day. It's a synergistic blend of minerals, herbs, and nutrients that have been proven to support healthy blood sugar levels. Sweeties includes chromium, an essential trace mineral that's known for its contribution to healthy blood sugar levels and improved metabolism of carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. Cinnamon bark has been included for its naturally occurring antioxidants and support of a healthy heart. And we've even added gymnema. It's been used in Ayurveda for centuries to help promote healthy blood sugar. All the ingredients in Sweeties work together to give the best support available for blood sugar control. Sweeties, the blood sugar support supplement from Youngevity that helps control cravings and manage blood sugar levels through your day. To learn more, contact your Youngevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for rims, paints, and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Tracklight, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires. Cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
Blasted loud.
As you age, factors like health, weight, diet, and lifestyle can all impact your bones, joints, and general mobility. Even everyday exercise can lead to wear and tear on your body. Over time, you might start to experience stiffness or pain due to damaged joints or connective tissue. Ultimate Glucogel by Youngevity was created to help you limit the effects of wear on your joints. It delivers a daily dose of collagen-rich gelatin your body needs for joint elasticity and maintenance. Ultimate Glucogel contains a 1-to-1 ratio of gelatin and glucosamine sulfate, which is a key building block of your bone matrix, cartilage, ligaments, tendons, and connective tissue. Gelatin's unique blend of amino acids not only help with muscle and joint health, but also has been shown to provide additional benefits for the brain, skin, and hair. Ultimate Glucogel. Natural, optimal daily support for joint health. To learn more, contact your Youngevity associate.
And we are back. Welcome back to GPS Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. Pastor Dave, Elder Dave had to leave, and so we will continue the last portion of the show with the other guests who are here in studio and still on the line, right? Okay, perfect. The numbers to call, 3260271, 3260271, 3260272, 3260272, or WhatsApp is 8010271. 8010271. And you can also check us out on Facebook, where we're streaming live to the official Michelle Malcolm and Global 99.5 FM pages. If you haven't already done so, like and share the show. We're talking about a very important issue today. And We need to get the word out. Everybody's throwing their hands up in the air, complaining about the crime and the young men killing each other. Well, this conversation today could very well be a glimpse into why we're seeing these kinds of things happen in our society. So, gentlemen, let's go back to where we jumped off prior to the break. Can both exist?
Michelle, Malcolm, I think what has happened is that the Western culture is totally different than the Eastern culture.
Okay.
And realities of the matter is, as much as my brother Dario Maycock say, woman is equal to men, there's 2/3 men on planet Earth would disagree with that. And that's the Eastern culture. Africa, Europe, Russia, China, that's the eastern part of the world. And their ideologies is their ideologies.
Right.
The Western culture has changed the pot. And the pot is what we have today. And Mars Monroe said it best when he said that it's very difficult for 21st century men and marriages for men, because back in 60, 80 years ago, the role of a man was just to provide. Provide. But now the role changed. And there are all type of things happening in it. And this create all type of different conflicts and different ideologies and different thinking.
Right.
But I am one who believe that a woman is a helpmate to a man. And a man has to be able to lead his family and lead his woman. You know what I mean? I believe that in every organization, there is a president, a vice president, there's a chairman, and there's assistant chairman. And so everyone plays their roles and how to be able to hold on to their responsibility. You know what I mean? And in our culture, and this is why we could see it in some realities, and many will not say it, but the realities of the matter is, they guess that a lot of Bahamian men, marrying out of their Bahamian heritage. And they marry out of their Bahamian heritage for very good reasons, because they want more submissive women. These are the realities. And some might say no, but I can tell you, these are the realities. And so we also got to bear in mind that the woman liberation movement just came about in the 50s, 60s, where women are being able to vote, be empowered, I guess, for so on. And so they're on a movement. And we encourage that movement. But the foundation of the world is still men, and the male seed is the foundation of God's universe.
Dario, let me hear from you before I chime in.
Okay. I go back to the example that you used, that you said that Dr. Miles Manu said that about woman being a helpmeet. And you mentioned about woman following somebody that is leading with a vision.
Yes.
Also in that example, I remember when Dr. Miles used it, I also use now too in my teaching. The three things that man had before woman was presented to man. One, man knew God. Man had a relationship with God.
This is true.
Man understood himself. That's the first thing that has to happen. Man must know himself and know his relation with his creator. The second thing that happened with man, God placed man in position. So as you mentioned about the man being on the blocks and so forth, the man also must be in the position that God created him to be in.
Right.
Adam was in position. Adam was in the Garden of Eden. Okay? In the presence of God. The third thing that happened before Eve was presented to Adam was Adam had his assignment, and Adam knew his assignment. Now, and we may call assignment many things. We may call assignment vision. We may call assignment work. We may call assignment direction. If you meet a man that do not know his creator, that do not know his purpose, he is not in the place that he's supposed to be. And he doesn't know his vision, as you put it, he may not be going anywhere, he doesn't know where he's going. Why would a woman want to give up her understanding of who she is? Her placement of realizing that she is in the position that God put her, and put aside her vision for no vision, or come into a relationship with two visions to cause division. It doesn't make sense. So to answer your question that you asked directly, can we coexist? Yes, we can. Because to say that we cannot coexist means that God didn't know what he was doing. And God said the wrong thing when he said that, hey, man needs help. I refuse, because I know within my 27 years of marriage, although it took me 25 years to really understand it, yes, we can exist, and yes, some of us are existing together. Because we understand our God, we understand who we are, we understand where our place is, and so therefore we are placed ourselves in position, and therefore we have our assignment that we are carrying out. One of my assignments out of many is this flight. And this flight assignment also is to mentor boys and men to understand their purpose so that they can understand how man and woman can coexist.
Okay. All right. I'm glad that came out of your mouth and not mine, because when we get into these kinds of conversations that, talk about men and women and the roles, etc., no matter what, and this is just me speaking from my perspective, but no matter what is said from the mouth of a strong woman, it is seen as where Mr. P, where Dr. P, it is seen as, oh, you're trying to compete with the man. You're trying to compete. And it really has nothing to do with competition at all. It has nothing to do with competition. And in spite of what somebody said on this show about women wanting to have that, women want to, I forget how it was said in terms of wanting to be the head or whatever. I just think that is a misconception. That when people come across a woman who is a strong woman, who understands that she has a gift or a role to play, that she has a place on the earth, that is misconstrued as, oh, she doesn't want to be submissive. And I think men often confuse being the head with being, how do I put this? The reason why there's so much abuse, I believe, is because of this misconception that being the head is the same as having dominion over. What do I mean by that? When God gave dominion, he said, over the fish of the sea, over the bird of the air, over every crawling creature. He never gave a human being dominion over another human being. You don't believe me? Go read the word.
Michelle.
Yes.
Can I weigh in on that?
Please.
You are correct. Man, that's why I say man and woman, single man and woman are created equal. No human being was given dominion over any other human being, except husband and wife. Now that dominion came.
Show me where the word dominion is used in that relationship.
No. Let me finish. I come into it.
Mm-hmm.
That dominion, and I would use the word that the Lord used, God used, when he spoke to Eve. When he told Eve that you will desire your husband.
Yes.
That word desire, when you go look that up, in the Hebrew definition means you will want to control your husband, but your husband will rule you. That came out of the mouth of God.
But does that rule
But that
over
is not the
mean
single
dominion?
person. That's not the thing. What rule is?
That's
What rule is? That's why I'm saying, if you don't want your husband to have dominion over you or rule you, do not marry. That instruction was given to a married couple. But once you remain single, no man has no dominion over no other person than his wife. No man has dominion or rule over no other man or woman other than his wife.
See,
and not in the word of God.
See, I think where the challenge comes from, and I know 2/3 of men in this country will agree with me. The reality of the matter is that we all know that the children carries the father's last name. We all know when a woman get married, she drops her name and she carries the husband name. What we love to do, and they're talking about this Western system, we love to play around with the peas in the pot. And we don't want to accept the realities of what it is. And we love to change words and change them little up, and that's what so on. There is no problem when a man is the leader. There's also no problem when a woman understands this man is wealthy. The challenge, what I learned, is that guess what? Whenever you see most of the challenges in these leadership comes in to, hey, when you're struggling. Because in realities, what I've learned is that people tend to submit more to what you have.
I can let y'all talk, but we have a call on the line. So let me go to this caller first. Caller, welcome to the show.
Yeah, good evening. I just want to talk about tomorrow's event because I realize time is going. We want to encourage our men to come out to be a part of it. Fathers to bring the sons. Saturday coming, 12 to 7 at the park, from the Bird Ground Park. We're inviting the fathers to come out. The first 50 fathers register will receive a free T-shirt and a number of gifts. You can also come out and get your blood pressure check, get the blood glucose, get your sugar test. There will be karate demonstration. There will be dance groups. There's marching band. And the gentleman in the studio can share some of the other events. So I just want to make sure people get that out there because I'm looking at the time and I realize almost time to sign off. Thanks very much.
So Dave, you're the host of the show, right?
Yes.
You don't think I'm aware what time it is? I intended to end my show with that. But anyhow, y'all can say I try to compete. So anyhow, gentlemen, I hear what y'all saying, right? But the reason why the Bible says that he created them male and female.
Yeah.
God never gave a human being dominion over another human being. Now, I agree with you. He said that your husband will rule over you. But that has been so misconstrued to mean something else altogether. You pointed out about Eastern culture.
Yes.
Compared to Western culture.
Yes.
In the East, women are still seen as chattel. Chattel. They ain't nothing more than another camel. They chattel. They have very little value. When the Taliban took over, I think it was Afghanistan, you had women doctors, lawyers, etc., who were subjected to you can't go back to work. We're not teaching these girls anything. The girls were taken out of schools. women actually started committing suicide because they were no longer allowed to contribute to the development of anything because they were seen as nothing more than chattel. The other day, we had a woman that was pretty much murdered by the state because she allowed her hair to show. And so they put her into one of these camps to change her mindset. And I'm killing a woman by the amount of abuse that they put on her because she allowed her hair to show. Is this the foolishness we're talking about here? When you can compare Western culture to Eastern culture, because the Eastern culture got it right.
I think what I'm trying to demonstrate to you is that the way how woman is being liberated in our part of the world, that is not how it operates on the eastern part of the world. And inside reality is that this liberation is causing us to change the peace.
So are we saying that we want to go back to a time when women have no rights? When a woman has to...
No.
What are we saying?
We're not saying that. What has to be inside the conversation, and this is what I say again, Miles Manuel said, it's difficult in this age for men to be men because of men 80, 60 years ago only had to provide. And these are the realities of what we face. But I still believe, and until someone show me something different inside the Bible, men are head, men are the leaders, and men are the foundation. And there is no equal to that role. A woman is not equal to that role.
Go ahead, Darian. Let me hear from you.
That's my philosophy to that.
Go ahead, Darian. Yeah.
You asked, what do we want to go back to? We want to go back to it when the peas and rice was perfect.
Perfect for who?
Hold on, hear me out. The peas and rice was perfect in the Garden of Eden before sin entered. The ingredient that was changed that caused man, a husband, again I state, a husband, to have dominion over his wife was when sin entered the peas and rice, the perfect ingredient. Yes, and the word of God tells us we are going back to Eden, because that's God's desire. God's desire is to have that perfect relationship with his creation and to take us back to what he created, which was for us to be in the Garden of Eden.
We have a call on the line, but I can throw something out right now. This obviously requires a part two. I can throw something out right now.
Don't forget, Dave. You know what? We don't want to disappoint Dave.
No, we can talk with Evan. We can talk with Evan. But I can throw something out right now before I go to this caller. God, in all his infinite wisdom and power, will not violate the will of mankind. God, in all his infinite wisdom and power, still gives mankind a free will to make his own decision about where he wants to carry his life. You could choose to stay between life and death. The choice is yours still. Right? But you're trying to tell me that when a woman decides to walk down the aisle, she no longer has a free will?
No, I didn't
because
say that.
It's based on what this man determines?
No, I didn't say that. What I'm saying, Michelle, is this. I go back to Paul, see you, Bible woman. Paul said a wife is to submit to a husband.
And the husband is supposed to, and the husband is supposed to submit to God.
No. Oh, yeah, love her.
Yes.
Love her.
But is the husband not supposed to submit to God?
Yes, and God's will is for the husband to love his wife.
Okay.
And that's how the rule is set up.
So a part of the problem we have is that men are very quick to say, woman, you're supposed to submit to me. But who he submitting to? Is he submitting to God?
Right. But not because a man doesn't submit. Just like if a woman doesn't submit to me, that doesn't mean I mustn't submit to God. So if if I don't submit to God, that doesn't mean that my wife should not submit to me.
Why? You leading by example.
No. See, the word of God. See, if we can follow the word of God, we got to follow the word of God.
So follow the word of God. That's the man.
Exactly. And both for us to coexist, both husband and wife. And I'm staying away from single because, like I said, single man and single woman are equal. I'm talking now when we come to husband and wife.
I think we need to do a part two. We need to do a part two. Caller, I don't know if I can get you today. Make it quick, caller. Make it quick.
Good day, Lady Malcolm, and you get.
Good day.
What you need, what your guests need, they need a little more education. Yes, of course, the scripture says that God is the head, or Christ is the head of the church, and a man is the head of his family. But that's basically only concerning the home. That is in the home. And when he and his wife consort together, normally if there was an extra decision to make, the man would normally take that point. You understand? But there's nothing in the scriptures that says that the female cannot go out there, educate herself like the man, and apply for a job of a prime minister or bus driver or whatever she desires. It's just establishing a position. Times have changed a lot now. I think, this is my personal view, that back then, what they're speaking about, it was a patriarchal society. Everything was based on the maize, or the woman better have this maize jazz.
Call, I need you to wrap it up because you're running out of time.
Yeah, it was patriarchal, but I agree with you, Lady Malcolm. I think what your guests need is more education. Thanks for taking my call.
Gentlemen, we really running out of time. I think we need to do a part two, and we need to do a part two. No, first of all, in the little bit of time that we have left, please, again, tell us about this event that's coming up, okay? Real quick, 1 minute.
Well, we want to thank Honorable O.B. Wilson
Mhm.
for meeting with us on Tuesday at the man's desk at the Ministry of Social Service. And he has put his pledge and his...
Tell us about the event. Tell us about the event. We run out of time. What? Tell us about the event.
The event is scheduled for Saturday
Mhm.
at Tom Grant Park in Yellow Elder
Mhm.
off Howard Road from 12 to 9. And we're going to have a numbers of men organization showcasing men and boys organization.
Okay.
And of course, we're asking for all men from all across the country to come and be a part. It's going to be free drinks, free food. We have free gifts and free giveaways that will be taking place at this event.
Okay. All right. You heard it here. Go ahead, Darren, real quick. You got less than a minute.
And I challenge us that part two could be on Saturday the 1st, right at Tom the Great Grand Park. So that's what we man do.
Yeah, but then my audience here, you'll be able to tune in. We got to do this on my show. Anyway, I think what we need to do is have a panel of men and women, and we
Yes.
just go back and forth. That should be exciting. Anyway, 4 o'clock, y'all. Got to get off the air. But I agree that the man is the foundation. I agree that the man is supposed to be the head. But women, just remember, he may be the head, but use the neck.
Yes. Turn the head.
We gone. Thanks so much for tuning everybody. See you tomorrow. TGIF. Take care.
Global 99.5 FM reminds our listeners that the views and opinions expressed on this show are those